Good morning, friends. Ever since the last session, it's been quite a while, I had played to you about Shuddha Brahma Paratpararam, Kalatmaka Parameshwararam. That is, Sri Ram was the embodiment, was an incarnation of Shuddha Brahma, that is, absolute Brahma. So, so that was 40,000 years ago. And subsequently, in subsequent narrations or in the discourses on Ramayana, it has been, Ramayana has Sri Rama has always been referred to as an avatar of Vishnu. Perhaps it could be, one reason could be because of Brahma being set aside as the grandsire, and then Ganesha taking over of the position of Brahma as Ganesha, as Ganapati, Ganesha, Brahmanaspati, that is Lord of all Brahmas, because the incarnation of Ganesha happened in Dwapara Yuga, whereas Ramayana, that Sri Rama, when the where Sita was daughter of Janaka and Dasharatha king, that was in the Treta Yuga. So it was the incarnation of Ganesha was of Dwapara Yuga, and so when Ganesha replaced the position of Brahma, because already there was a ban on the temples on Brahma, and so Sri Rama was not projected as Brahma's incarnation but was projected as an incarnation of Vishnu. It could be one reason. And besides, ever since I said that, and sort of I sort of mentioned that so Brahma is restored to his like Brahma's has restored to his position in the heavens as in heaven, so on earth. And so ever since that day, like I have been feeling more of the presence of Joseph rather than Jesus. So Joseph as father of Jesus, although Jesus it's spoken of as the son of Virgin Mary. So, but I could feel more of the presence of Joseph. I was a bit intrigued in the sense that in my book on incarnations, on incarnation steps to momentum on for human evolution, which contains the various incarnations and avatars taken by the divine at various points of time, include right from the Kurma avatar, Matsya avatar, into Rama avatar, where I spoke about how Rama came to open the heart chakra, and then later. Later the Krishna avatar, and then Jesus Christ, Buddha, up to Shri Mataji as the avatar or incarnation of Vishnu Maya to open the Sahasrara chakra. So now here I would like to, because, and I have mentioned many of the quotations of Shri Mataji of each of these avatars during the pujas that were which she used to conduct with her as person, as embodiment or a personification of that particular deity, and she used to get the puja done to her. So, and after the puja, she used to give several, or even otherwise, several discourses on these avatars were given by her, and quotes from those avatars I have mentioned in this book. And as far as Jesus is concerned, she has mentioned that Jesus is an avatar of Ganesha. That is, Ganesha was not born physically as such, and so Jesus was the first was the incarnation as a human, as a means one born out of the womb, and he was the incarnation of Ganesha, purportedly that it was the conceivement between Krishna and Radha in the heavens, and which was carried by Gabriel and placed in the womb of Mary, and that's how she gave birth to, as a Virgin Mary, she gave birth to Jesus Christ. And she has mentioned that he is an incarnation of Ganesha. So but then in the year 2024, no, before that, 22, 23 or 22, I had when this Ram Janmabhoomi celebrations, etc., was going on, as I had mentioned, I'd been to my parents' place and I found a picture of Ganesha with Krishna seated on his lap. And in that Ganesha, that was a unique photo which I asked my mother from where did she get it. She said it's from ISKCON. And so, and there was a shloka referring to, beneath that photo, which was referring to the Malliyur Mahaganapati temple. Malliyur, where that photo was from, that Ganesha's photo is from, that Ganesha is from a temple in Malliyur, which is in Kurupandara in Kottayam district of Kerala. And this is situated, this temple of Mahaganapati temple, it is situated about 21 kilometers northwest of Kottayam and about 56 kilometers from Ernakulam on the Kurupandara on Kottayam, the nearest railway station, and on Kottayam, Kurupandara on Kottayam Ernakulam section of the Southern Railway. Now, in this particular temple, this was taken care of by Nambudiris. It is actually a temple of the Perumal era. Perumal means Vishnu. That is the Mahavishnu's incarnations, the Vaishnavites who worship exclusively Vishnu. It's of that time. So this is basically a temple of Vishnu where three shrines existed in this temple of Durga Bhagavati, Sri Antimahakalan and Aya Yakshi. Then the legend says that the Brahmin, that a deeply devout and saintly Malayalam Brahmin got an idol of Lord Ganapati during one of his pilgrimages to North India, and he installed it close to the then existing shrines of Sri Durga Bhagavati, and that in that temple. And then later on, it was accepted, and then initially there was a small Sri Kovil for Lord Ganapati with only single puja. Later on, a big temple itself was constructed by the Malliyur Parameshwaran Nambudiri family, the Malliyur, who were taking care. There are families who have been traditionally taking care of temples in Kerala, and it has been passing through generations together. And so this family, so the family the responsibility of the temple rested with Brahmashri Shankaran Nambudiri. Now this Shankaran Nambudiri, he left for Guruvayur. He used to worship the Lord in various ways. He left for Guruvayur for the blessings of Guruvayurappan. When he went to Guruvayur, he had the good fortune of getting initiated with the blessings of Guruvayurappan. He got the good fortune of being initiated into Srimad Bhagavatam. So this great scholar, Brahmashri, from the Brahmashri Pattappa Nambudiri. So as directed by his guru, he used to recite Srimad Mahabhagavatam in front of Lord Ganapati. Now, as an offering, after observing all rigors prescribed by a Nambudiri Brahmin who had to lead the life of a pious Brahmin. Now, normally, any deity, if you are worshipping exclusively one particular deity, you chant mantras or Atharvashir or the Purans or any texts or scriptures relating to that deity. That is, if you are visited before Ganesha, that is Ganapati, then you will chant the Ganapati Atharvashisham, or the various names of Ganesha, or Mudgal Purana, Ganesh Gita, or any text of Ganapati. And of course, now these days, they even, while doing that Keshavaya Namaha Navamana, Keshavaya Namaha, Sridharaya Namaha, that and all they do for use, that is Vishnu's names for Ganapati. That's a different thing. But here he has been instructed by his guru to read the Mahabhagavatam, which is of Vishnu, the incarnations of Vishnu, in front of Ganapati. So there is something very significant here, and he has been doing this very religiously, and by the direction of his guru and blessings of Lord Ganapati, Malliyur Shankara Nambudiri became proficient in rendering this Srimad Bhagavatam and in explaining, and it is very popular. So one day he remembered he had he used to explain the hidden meanings of these stanzas, and he had a dream where the idol now he had the dream where of the idol of Lord Ganapati, where Krishna is seated on his lap. This was the vision that he got, and this was the vision that he got, and so they prepared a deity there. The Sheela idol of Lord Ganapati of 30 centimeters is of sitting pose with the right leg folded and left leg in a slanting posture. The idol is four-armed, having axe, rope, horn, and laddu. Then the Sri Bija Ganapati with the trunk twisted to the right and carrying on its tip a pomegranate fruit. Conceptually, Sri Unni Krishna is seated in between the legs of Lord Ganapati, the feet of Lord Krishna kept on the right thigh of Ganesha and left thigh of slanting posture of Ganesha, and Sri Krishna is leaning on the left thigh. So this is a vision that they got, and then they have prepared a idol there and installed it. So so here, and again, so this is the deity of this Malliyur temple, which quite intrigued me, because in Mudgal Puran there is a mention that in Ganesh Gita also there is a mention that where Ganesha says, I was born as with an Ansh incarnation of Vishnu in Shiva's house. Okay, this as an Ansh incarnation of Vishnu in Shiva's house, that is Shiva and Parvati. So he was born as an Ansh incarnation. There's a mention in Ganesh Gita. At the same time, the Ganapatyas, that is Ganesha devotees, also worship Ganesha in the or Vishnu as Pushtipati Ganesha. Pushtipati Ganesha means where Ganesha is worshipped as husband of whom Pushti. Pushti was married to Ganesha, and in that incarnation, and so Ganesha is considered as a husband of Pushtipati. Pushti. But Pushti, who is a daughter of Daksha Prajapati, was married to Dharma. She was not married to Ganesha. And so, and even when we go to read the Pushtipati Stotram in the Ganesh Kosh is a encyclopedia or compendium of all the stotras of Ganesha. In Pushtipati Stotram, it is mentioned in the Ganesh Kosh that which is written by Radha Krishna Uchatu, that is, Radha Krishna is that rishi or the saint who composed this particular stotra. So he says, Pushtipate namastubhyam namaha. I bow down to Pushtipati. Shankara Sunave, so born to Shankara. Brahmabhutaya Devaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayate. Brahmabhutaya Devaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayate means one who has manifested as Brahma, that Deva, who bestows all siddhis on all the devotees. Swananda Vasine Tubhyam Brahmaputraya Te Namaha. So he says, the one who resides in Swananda Loka, to you who has born as Brahma's son, I bow down. So from this it is clear that Ganesha was incarnation of Brahma, who was the original Swanandavasi, that is real, the absolute Paramatma Brahma. Now he was born as Shankara Sunave, Shankara's son. Pushtipate Namastubhyam. Pushtipate, I bow down to you. Then in the same sloka further down in the stotra, it is mentioned, Vishnuputraya Sarvesham Pitre Matre Namo Namaha. So, as a Vishnu son, you are the Sarvesham Pitre Matre. You consider everybody as mother and father. You remember that Ganesha, in that competition between the Devas, who was superior, who was the leader. So there was a competition between Muruga, the Kartikeya, and Ganesha as to whose marriage was to be performed first. Because Muruga was the son born to Shiva and Parvati. Ganesha was created out of the dirt from the body of Parvati, and it was infused with life. So who was actually elder? And besides, Kartikeya was sent to the south by Shiva for taking care of the kingdom near Madurai and all, because there were demons and there were black magic and all. So there he was taken care. So when Muruga came, Ganesha was there. So there was a bit of a tussle between the two as to who would gain the love of their parents. And so in that process, Ganesha, the competition was who goes around the world fastest and comes back will be considered the eldest. Muruga went on his peacock and went around the whole world, but Ganesha seated on his mouse, and he was so huge, so he could not travel so fast. He just went around Shiva and Parvati, circumambulated them, and then he says that you are my world, and so I have done. So I've reached first. So I have won the competition. So he was considered as the eldest. So he was appointed as so he won the competition as the eldest. So Jeta Raja, he got that. So that is Vishnuputraya. So here Vishnuputraya, that child is Vishnuputraya Pitre Matre Namo Namah Garvahantre cha Sarvebhya Sukhadayate. That means that purpose of that incarnation of Pushtipati, or I mean that Pushti, whether it could be this Pushti or that Pushti who was married to Dharma, Pushti who was actually the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, same Dwapara, and so that Dharma, that's a different thing. And so we need to again get deeper into this to find out. Then Garvahantre cha Sarvebhya Sukhadayati. So this Ganesha's incarnation was for destroying the pride of all and establish and make all others happy. That is restoration of destroying the pride, destroying when people tried to be proud and tried to assert themselves, and destroy that and establish peace and happiness everywhere. So that was the Pushtipati's avatar. So when we consider this Malliyur Ganapati, it was a vision that Nambudiri had of Krishna seated seated in the lap of Ganesha. So possibly after that, so it could be that this Ganesha who was born was actually Brahmanaspati, Brahma's son Ganesha, who was born because Swananda Vasine Tubhyam Brahmaputraya Te Namaha, it's mentioned. So Brahmaputraya Te Namaha was he was born as Brahma's son in the house of Shiva, and again Brahma's son is Dharma. So Dharma married to Pushti satisfies that Pushtipati title as well, and Vishnuputraya Sarve Sham Pitre Matre. So, as a Vishnu's avatar, as an Ansh incarnation, which is mentioned in the Ganesh Gita, in Ganesh Gita is mentioned that I was also born as an Ansh incarnation of Vishnu in Shiva's house. So, it was actually a part incarnation of Vishnu and born in Shiva's house. And so Vishnu Putraya, it becomes Vishnu's Putra. So this Malliur, where where Krishna is seated in the lap of Ganesha, so it becomes quite relevant, or we can say it justifies, it sort of correlates with that particular, even the stotra mentioned, as well as the Mudgal Puran and the Ganesh Gita mentioned. So nowhere can we see, including there is a temple for that. There is also references in the stotra and also in the Ganesh Gita and Mudgal Puran. Besides, there is also a mention of how of the Markandeya Rishi. We'll come to that. So when we say Brahma was the creator. So Brahma is considered as a father. So even in Christianity, when Joseph is considered father, heaven, oh, Father, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. And it goes. So, Jesus was born as son. Now, again, that is when Mataji says that Ganesha was that incarnation of Jesus, because again it is towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, in just before say 2000, before the Christian era, that is AD starts. So that BC and AD, the time frame. So when we look into it, it needs a deeper probe, and maybe that I was actually in that process of like searching for the actual authentic source where I can get, but I thought in the meanwhile I was forgetting the links of all together. So I thought of making this video because I was getting a feedback that I'm very silent and not to be seen. So I thought of giving this particular context of what was going on in my mind, and what I was trying to connect the dots. And at the same time, when in the Mudgal Puran, in part 3, chapter 15, there is a conversation of Markandeya, who is the son of Mrukunda Rishi. Mrukunda was one of the rishis who was a Swayambhu of Brahmadeva, the mind-born rishis of this, and Markandeya was his son. And so again the Brahma's lineage. And then he has a conversation between Nara Narayana. Nara and Narayana, now it so happens that this Markandeya Rishi, when he was meditating, and he was meditating on the Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is Om Bhurbo Swatatsavitarvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So on this Gayatri Mantra, which all who are on the path of Brahma, that is Satyaloka, Brahmadeva. So that is a mantra basically chanted for the initiates. So he was chanting it for 100 years, and then he, at the same time, he was having the vision of Vishnu in his heart. That is, he was although he was chanting Gayatri mantra, he was a devotee of Vishnu. So he was having the vision of Vishnu in his heart, and he was meditating for 100 years. But then Shiva and Parvati happened to come there, and Shiva and Parvati came there to that ashram, Markanda Rishi's ashram, where there was a discussion going on between Surya and the Surya is narrating the story to Valakalya Rishis. So he's saying that when Shiva and Parvati arrived there, this Markandeya did not even open his eyes. So Shiva got, he felt it that everybody came, they were prostrating to him, doing worship and puja and everything, whereas this Markandeya is still in meditation. So how he could not be aware of the presence of Shiva? Shiva is an Ishvara. So Shiva, what he did, he changed himself, or became Vishnu, and he substituted that image of Vishnu in Markandeya's heart. Substituted that Vishnu's image, which Markandeya was meditating in his heart, by his image. So the moment Shiva entered the heart of Markandeya, he was shaken, and slowly he said something is wrong, and he opened his eyes and he saw Shiva Parvati there. And so then Markandeya Rishi, of course, he gets up and bows down and everything. But here you see the substitution of one incarnation, one Ishvara by another Ishvaras in this. So Markandeya was a bit perturbed, and he asked, just a minute, I'll just so he was, when he found Shambhu in front of him, he bowed down to Shiva, and then he started, after that, he started worshipping Shiva. So he was blessed by Shiva, and so he started worshipping Shiva, and then he was blessed by Shiva after performing all austerities, and he wrote the Markandeya Puran. Markandeya Puran consists of all the glory of Shiva and Shakti. And also, Shiva was also Markandeya Rishi was blessed that he will live for he blessed him with a lifespan of 7 kalpas. 7 kalpas. A kalpa is a day in the life of Brahma. So 1 day is equal to 4 crore 32 lakh years. 1 day and another night, 4 crore 32, like that. For 7 days he will live. So 7 days, that is a lifespan. So in between that, so much this Markandeya Rishi will be living. So he will see several times of creation, destruction, annihilation, and everything. So in that, when Markandeya Rishi, so he wrote that Markandeya Puran, and after some time he was two Ishwaras visited him, and those were Nara and Narayana. They came to his ashram. So who was this Nara and Narayana? This Nara and Narayana, he said that Surya is telling. Surya is narrating the story to the Valakilya rishis, who are asking, who is this Nara and Narayana who came and visited Markandeya rishi? So this Surya says, my son Dharma. Okay, Dharma who married Pushti. My son Dharma, the righteous one, who treated everyone equally, observed penance with his wife. Means he married several. There were several daughters of Daksha Prajapati who were married to this Dharma. Pushti, Kirti, and all of them. So many of them were married. So he observed penance, and after 100 years, Vishnu was pleased and manifested to grant boons. So they prayed that Vishnu should incarnate as their son, that is Dharma and Pushti and Kirti actually. So means Kirti was also the wife of this. So so Vishnu was born as two sons, Nara and Narayana. Nara was the Jiva and Narayana was the Paramatma Shiva. Paramatma Shiva. So, and Brahma is the union of Paramatma Shiva and Nara, that is the soul. So, the union, so that Brahma who split himself into two as the consciousness and the body, embodiment, as Narayana, separated in body, was born to this Dharma as Dharma and Kirti, as Nara and Narayana, and this Nara and Narayana came and visited Markandeya Rishi. So Markandeya Rishi, he bows down to this Nara and Narayana, and he says, he offers pranams, and then after worshipping them, he says, I find that Vishnu, you are a Mahayogi. That is, so he is like an incarnation of Vishnu. Nara and Narayana together are incarnation. You have been Naimisharanya Brahmins at the behest of both went to Naimisharanya to perform incense by association. Vishnu arrived there. Now Vishnu arrived there, and when Mahavishnu, the pleased Mahavishnu asked, "O Mahamunis, what do you desire?" Vishnu arrived there in the forest where this Nara and Narayana had also come, where Markandeya Rishi had also come. They asked Mahavishnu, "Tell us about yoga." Mahavishnu, a beloved Ganapatya, happily spoke about the Shanti Yoga. So that Shanti Yoga which Mahavishnu narrated to that Nara and Narayana narrate to this Markandeya Rishi. So this is how the conversation goes. So here probably there is something more deeper into this, where Markandeya Rishi, in Ganesha as such, when he is mentions himself as Brahmanaspati Ganesha in the Mudgal Puran and Ganesh Gita and everywhere, he clearly states that after the Kruta Yuga was separated, this Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga was merged, and then a new time cycle was formed with the four Satya Yuga, Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. And this Ganesha, originally he when the after the Pralaya, after that Treta Yuga, after the Satya Yuga, that is Kruta Yuga goes away, then after a big annihilation that happened, Brahma divided himself, that is the Parabrahma or the absolute Brahma, became these five Ishwaras. He became these five Ishwaras means he divided his work into Brahmadeva, Vishnu, Shiva, Shakti and Surya. So Brahmadeva did the work of creation, Vishnu did the work of maintenance, Shiva did the work of creation, Shakti was the qualities, the gunas, the three gunas with permutations and combinations of all of them, became the various forms, names and forms of the world, the animate and inanimate things in this universe, all kinds of beings, including animals, birds, daityas, danavas, all emerged after that, including The Rishi means those from Brahmadeva, who created the 10 Prajapatis and all the Sapta Rishis and all of them. Kashyapa himself had several wives, from whom, from one of the wives, birds, animals, various species, all of this has been described in detail. But suffice it to say right now that all of the creation came after that, and the Turiya aspect, the Turiya or the unmanifest of these five Ishwaras was the Gunesha, who was the Brahmanaspati, or who was that the lord of all these Brahmas. So he was given the title Brahmanaspati, and that Brahmanaspati, as an Ansh incarnation, manifested in the house of Shiva and Parvati at Kailash. So that Brahmana, but then absolute Parabrahma Parameshwara, Parabrahma, he was retired to grandsire and he has in Satyaloka, and this Ganesha has the Swananda Loka, and the Ganesha was born, whom we worship as Ganesh Chaturthi and everything. He was having a Swarga Swananda in Kailash. So this is how the various incarnations have over a period of time manifested, have incarnated for several purposes in different parts of the world. We will come to that when as about Jesus, Mary in due course. Suffice it like for the moment we'll halt here, because Markandeya Rishi then proceeds from each of these steps. Now, when we want to attain Brahma again, that Paramatma Brahma, we have to follow a certain stage-wise course that is given in the Ganesh Gita. So, we have to first accomplish Asad Brahma, which is Shakti, then Sad Brahma, which is Surya, then Vishnu Brahma, which is Samabrahma, which is Vishnu, then Sahaja Brahma, which is Shiva, then go to Swananda Brahma or self-knowing, Swasamvedya Brahma, and there are various steps to finally reach the position of Brahma. So it's a process. We will see through that one by one in due course. Jai Gajanan.